Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, the creation of the fourth order, chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Text number 12. Thank you. Tam evam shira sampanam.
Tam evam shira sampanam.
Tam evam shira sampanam.
Tam evam shira sampanam.
Ramanyam dina vatsalam.
Ramanyam dina vatsalam.
Ramanyam dina vatsalam.
Ramanyam dina vatsalam.
Goptaram dharma setuna.
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Okay.
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dinas Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Prajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Praja,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Mataji's.
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Prajaha,
Menire Pitaram Praja,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Tamevam Shila Sampanam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Goptaram Dharma Setunam,
Menire Pitaram Prajaha,
Menire Pitaram Brajaha.
Tam,
Tam,
him, evam,
Evam,
thus,
thus,
Shila,
Shila,
with godly qualities,
with godly qualities,
Sampanam,
Sampanam,
endowed,
endowed,
Brahmanyam,
Brahmanyam,
respectful to the Brahmanas,
respectful to the Brahmanas,
Dina,
Dina,
to the poor,
to the poor,
Vatsalam,
Vatsalam,
kind,
kind,
Goptaram,
Goptaram,
protector,
protector,
Dharma Setunam,
Dharma Setunam,
of religious principles,
of religious principles,
Menire,
Menire,
thought,
thought,
Pitaram,
Pitaram,
father,
Father,
Prajaha,
Prajaha,
the citizens.
the citizens.
Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all good godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. Purport. The personal qualities of Dhruva Maharaj described herein are the exemplary qualities of a saintly king. Not only a king, but also the leaders of a modern democratic or impersonal government must be qualified with all these godly characteristics. Then the citizens of the state can be happy. It is clearly stated here that the citizens thought of Dhruva Maharaj as their father. As a child, depending on the able father, is completely satisfied, so the citizens of the state, being protected by the state or the king, should remain satisfied in every respect. At the present moment, however, there is no guarantee by the government of even the primary necessities of life in the state, namely the protection of the lives and property of the citizens. One word is very significant in this connection, Brahmanyam. Dhruva Maharaj was very devoted to the Brahmanas, who engage in the study of the Vedas, and thereby know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are always busy propagating Krishna consciousness. The state should be very respectful to societies that distribute God consciousness all over the world. But unfortunately, at the present moment, there is no state or government support given to such movements. As for good qualities, it is very difficult to find anyone in state administration with any good qualities. The administrators simply sit in their administrative posts and say no to every request, as if they were paid to say no to the citizens. Another word, Dina Vatsalam, is very significant also. The state head should be very kind to the innocent. Unfortunately, in this age, the state agents and the presidents draw good salaries from the state and they pose themselves as very pious. But they allow the running of slaughterhouses where innocent animals are killed. If we try to compare the godly qualities of Dhruva Maharaj to the qualities of modern statesmen, we can see that there is no actual comparison. Dhruva Maharaj was present in the Satya Yuga, as will be clear from the next verses. He was the ideal king in Satya Yuga. The government administration in the present age, Kali Yuga, is bereft of all godly qualities. Considering all these points, the people today have no alternative but to take to Krishna consciousness for protection of religion, life and property. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurum Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guravi Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangung Langayati Girim Yat Kripatamahang Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarunam Shri Chaitanya Manobistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamam Dadati Swavadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Tam Evam Shila Sampanam Brahmanyam Dina Vatsalam Guptaram Dharma Setunam Meni Repitaram Prachaha. Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. Hare Krishna. Okay, we hear about the qualities of an ideal leader and king, as was Dhruva Maharaj. And Prabhupada is not shy to bring this into a modern context, compared this ideal personality, Dhruva Maharaj, and his able qualities of leading a whole country and protecting the citizens. And Prabhupada compares this with the modern situation. So first, Dhruva Maharaj, he had all good qualities. He was qualified, he was powerful, he was wise. And in that way, because of his purity and qualification, he was able to be a leader, to lead others, right? How can you lead others if you don't have good qualities? You will mislead them. As I said, the blind are leading the blind. Because people need guidance, of course. We all need guidance, especially if we come together in a group. There needs to be some guidance. Without that, there's chaos. Anarchy doesn't work. Only if we are very, very qualified. Because then, when we are very qualified, it means we are self-sufficient. Then we don't need the group so much. But if we depend on the group, then there needs to be organization. Because if not that, then there's chaos. Because everyone will try to maybe try his best as good as he can, but because of selfish interest, there will be exploitation and all this chaos will come about. So the leader must be very qualified to be so wise to take care of so many other people with different interests. So he has to understand what's going on, what do they need, and how can I provide. For that he must be selfless, pure in heart, wise, intelligent, and powerful to, to bring his will into action. If someone is very wise, very intelligent, has lots of knowledge, but he has no power to put it in a practical way, what's the use of it? So we speak of Raja Rishi. Right? The kings, they were not just Rajas, kings who were powerful, but they were also wise. And who was it? Plato was also talking about this in his Republic. Was it Plato? Yeah, Plato. About the philosopher king. He had a similar idea actually. He said there must be a philosopher king. The king must be a philosopher. He must be wise. Yeah. So Dhruva Maharaj had that. So yeah, that's what needed, to put also the ideal into practice. And in a way that people accept it also, right? Because if there's just power and people, it might be somehow rather a good idea, but somehow if it's not translated, so to say, nicely, people will revolt also, right? Okay, good idea, but you put it in a way that we cannot accept it. There's revolution. And there's anyway a problem in our world. There were so many revolutions already. So many governments were taken down. Starting with most famous French Revolution, where it started all. They started it all. The French, thanks to the French. They started it all. And they took down their leader and they put into place a democratic system and government, parliament and all that. And then we had the Russian Revolution. And modern times now, we had some revolution in Bangladesh. There was also a revolution right now, actually a couple of days ago. Was a revolution more or less in Bangladesh. The prime minister, the lady, had to flee the country. Was flying out because it was dangerous. They might have killed her. Or they killed Gaddafi, the same thing. Gaddafi was also killed in a very, very terrible way. There was a revolution. And Ukraine, there was a revolution. People did not accept the new leader or something. So, yeah. And then America, he had also not revolution, but like a civil war. So it's tough, It's tough for the leaders nowadays. Germany, there will be never revolution. Germans don't like revolution. We like the leader and we follow, But there might come a situation when even the Germans had enough. But when the Germans have enough, then it's tough. Then it will be tough. Well, let's see. And Prabhupada says here that the governments, they are quite unqualified. And again, that we see, especially now in Germany, you can see it, that the government is quite unqualified. There is a three-party system in power now. There are three parties. And they are so admired right now. People don't like them at all. I don't know why they voted for them in the first place, but you could see also they need three parties to form the government, so it was already quite diverted. It was not the ideal situation. But now they are not liked at all by the people because of lots of stupid things they do, really stupid things. So, but why are they doing that? Unqualified. They have no understanding what is really good for the people, how to protect the people, how to please them. As we saw with this migration crisis, which is now completely turning against people, right? You have all this violence everywhere in the country because they say, okay, we love the whole world, please come. We love you all, please come, And you are also poor, there's so much war and problems in your country. And our country is nice. Everyone can come. No? So nice, sounds nice, but does not work. No? If we in Simhacharan would say, yes, everyone can come, we kind of do like that. No? We kind of join, But if you join, of course, so nobody joins because of the rules. No? So it's good for us to have rules. If not, we also probably have a migration crisis. But it turns against, because how much can you facilitate if there are too many people? Too many people. And not just too many people, it's many bad people also. That's the problem. Yeah. It's not just, okay, too many people. Prabhupada says there is no overpopulation of the world, actually. We think, we are too many people now. What is it now? 7 billion people. It's too much. We are too much. We have to get rid of them. Actually, more war, more coronavirus. Kill them all. Kill them all. 500 million, not more. You heard about the Georgia guidestones? Yeah, they were in America. Someone put up three stones. Big stones, and on every stone in the different languages of the world, there were like guidelines for the whole humanity. How humanity should look, in all even Sanskrit is written. Sanskrit, English, all kinds of languages. And one point is, keep population of the world not over 500 million. 500 million. So we are a bit too much. So, some have to go. But how can they go, Okay, in Germany we just don't get more children. Not more children, no? What is it? 1.2 in average? Everyone has in average 1.2? Something like this. Not many children. So Germans die out, no? But then we get replaced by all kinds of other people. Yeah. So 500 million. Yeah. And someone did not like that and he blew up this Georgia stones, right? Put some TNT there and blew it up. Because it's quite tough, 500 million. So, but Prabhupada says there is no overpopulation. Even 10 billion would be no problem. Even 20 billion. Prabhupada said, I travel everywhere throughout the country, even America, there are no people. They're just cities, such a huge country. So why do you speak about overpopulation? The problem is not overpopulation, the problem is mismanagement of the resources. That's the problem. Yeah. But if the resources and the earth is quite capable to give enough and plenty, we could provide for everyone. But mismanagement of resources and also greed is the other problem. Yeah? That people take too much and live too lavishly also. No? So, so back to the point, there are too many people. If there are too many people, how can you provide? No? But if everyone is decent, no problem. Right? In Brahmachari ashram, there's so much space. How many could you get there? 50, 100? No problem. Yeah, even if everyone is pakka, then it's okay, But if every brahmachari says, I need my own room, with separate bathroom and everything, then it will be difficult. But if everyone is simple, then it's okay. Like devotees here in Simhachalam, even grihastas with one or two children, live on really tiny space. Actually, this is not... one devotee here, he was going to the government because they give money. And he said, I need a flat. And they said, okay, how many are you? Okay, you're a small family with one child, so at least 80 square meters. German law. This we give you, 80 square meters. Not bad, But they say, that's what you need. So here the devotees, grihastas, we live on, 30, 40. But it's okay. It's manageable. Yeah. But if you have many people who take too much and bad people, then of course it doesn't work. As we see now in this situation. Anyway, Prabhupada criticizes here a bit the government who is not protecting, right? It's not protecting and then they're revolting. And so the leaders, they need good qualities to protect the people, should not be corrupt. Corruption is very prevalent in governments. And of course we know in India, they try to get rid of corruption. But it's very difficult because it's a system which is in place since a long time. And even also Russia, so much corruption. And actually you think, of course, India, India, of course, India. Yeah, of course it's the corruption. Maybe in Africa, India, all that, yeah. There's so much corruption in America. There's so much corruption in Germany. Like when this corona situation was there, the politicians, they made special laws that everyone has to wear these masks. You remember that? Everyone had to wear these masks. Everyone looked like stupid like anything and was uncomfortable and was not even scientifically proven that this works and helps. It was just stupid. But people, yes, of course, yes, mask. Use that masks, yes, mask. Wear the mask, And then they found out that the politicians themselves made business with this mask. They bought cheap masks from China and then they sold it to the people. They said, yes, you have to wear a mask and you have to buy my mask. They made millions. This is called corruption. This is side business. This is not allowed. You cannot do that. You cannot, exploit the people whom you are ruling and put your laws in place to enrich yourself. But this is what they do because they have very weak hearts. Not weak heart like, my heart attack, but they're very greedy. And they put their own self-interest over the ideal. They put their self-interest over the interest of the people over whom they are ruling. This is so terrible. This is so terrible. And This is the situation in Kali Yuga. This is one of the major signs of Kali Yuga, that we don't have qualified leaders. When you think about Kali Yuga, what are the qualities of Kali Yuga? Of course, it's said, what is it? Prayen alpa yusha sabya kalafas min yugechana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya yupatrutaha. People live very short lives. They are always quarrelsome. They are always disturbed. They are lazy. All that. But one of the major qualities is that we don't have qualified leaders. Not qualified leaders. So, and Dhruva Maharaj, of course, he was the complete opposite. And he had said he saw the people as his children. Who of you has children? Someone have children? Okay, a couple of children, yes. And when you have a child, you put the interest of the child above your interest. As good as you can. There might be challenging situations. Maybe more for the father than for the mother. Mother is more selfless. Father is sometimes not so selfless. But he tries. As good as he can. Yeah? It's more important that you feel well than I. So that means you are really concerned. You do as good as you can and protect and help and all that. It's your child, and you love your child, like anything. More than anyone else in the whole world, right? You cannot love any human being more than your child or children. It's amazing, actually, how this natural bondage works. You can only know if you have children. I could have never imagined how special this is, how powerful this is, actually. So here said Dhruva Maharaj saw all the citizens as his children. This is amazing. I don't think any politician sees all the citizens as the children. I have to take care of them. Like a mother, I have to take care of them. How are you doing? What can I do for you? Actually, they don't care at all, They don't care at all. Such rascals, actually. Such rascals. Yeah. And they have to get down, They have to get down. They have to get actually punished. They have to get punished, really evaluated. Actually, recently, I don't want to bring too many mundane examples, but it's actually a good example. There's one, and even my guru told me about him. There's one president, I recently told about him, from El Salvador. Who knows El Salvador? Everyone heard about this country? Yeah. What was El Salvador? Of course, you're from South America. What was El Salvador known in the world? What was it?
It was unsafe.
It was unsafe, yeah. And why was it unsafe?
Because of the criminals.
Because of the criminals. El Salvador was the country of the world with the highest murder rate in the world. And no other country in the world was more murder. It was like they counted as murder per 100,000. And I forgot the number, how much it was. And this is how they evaluate. And it was the highest in the whole world. Meaning, more or less everyone knows someone who got murdered. At least one. Maybe you know more people got murdered. I know no one who got murdered. I know no person. I did not know a person who got murdered. Right? Does any one of you know a person who got murdered? Like, have a relationship with someone? He got murdered? No. You. Okay, Mataji. We don't want to go into details. Might be a little bit tough, but that's a tough thing, But it's rare. We know many people who died, of course. Maybe even car accidents. Some of my friends died in car accidents. Some of my relatives died by suicide. This is quite common, actually. I know, I don't know. I heard Austria. I'm from Austria. It's a country with a higher rate of suicide. I don't know if it's true, but I knew many people who killed themselves. That was quite common. Quite common, yeah. But murder? No. But El Salvador had the highest rate. And especially because they had some gangs. There were two gangs who were rivals of each other, and they were like dominating the whole country. I forgot the names of these two gangs. And they were called, in general, the Maras. Mara means in Sanskrit also death. Right? And my guru told me that you can only be a member of a Mara if you kill someone. If you have not killed anyone, you cannot be a Mara. That's like, principles, huh? This was their principle. Well, you have not killed anyone, cannot be part of us. Okay, go out, kill someone. Terrible, how terrible. And the country was so, ridden by that, it was really terrible. And then there came a new president. And the first thing he did, he declared war on the Maras. And in short time, because he put all the military in and all the police, in a short time, he cleaned up the whole country. He built a huge prison and put all the Maras inside. Thousands of them. And some said, of this human rights movement, you cannot do that. This is unjust. This is inhumane activity against other people. And he said, I don't care at all, I don't care at all what you say, They are bad. And short time, now they say El Salvador is a safe country. He did this in a couple of years. This is actually something what is needed, And he is loved by the people. In El Salvador, they love him. They say, oh, he saved us. Now you can just move on the street again. Before it was dangerous. It can happen that some person passes by and just kills you, Not even robs you. Give me your money. Just kills you because of no reason. So crazy. And another thing he did, what I heard recently, what is quite amazing, he brought all his government people in, all his ministers. Right, in the government you have ministers who have different areas of the country, like Justice Department and Financial Department and Health Department, all departments. He brought all the ministers in, all the leaders of the country. He brought in on a big table, and there was one special police investigator. And he said, I brought you all in, and also this investigator, I have some news for you. This investigator, he will investigate now all of us. And I was looking, why should he investigate if we haven't done anything? He will investigate all of us for corruption. Also me. I ordered him, investigate every one of us, because I don't want any corruption in my government. And he should check on all of us. He has all rights to look into your office and your computer, everything he can check. And he said nobody was ever doing that in the whole history of politics. Who would that? Who would do that? But he did. He said, I don't want any corruption. I have nothing to hide. He can investigate me, and he should investigate you too. We should have nothing to hide, because we are the leader of the people. They should trust us, and we show them that they can trust us. And he immediately caught two bad people in this government. They had some side business. That out with you. I don't want you. So I don't want to say that he's a Raja Rishi or anything. I don't want to compare him. But these are at least these activities and these qualities are that what is needed for a leader. I don't know what else he does. We don't say that, but these are things which are needed. This is good, and that's why people, vote for him and like him. Protection, right? So we would like that for the country, right? Of course. So this is Krishna's system that someone has to lead. No? Someone has to lead. Except, as I said, if you're completely self-sufficient. If you don't need anyone for your livelihood, for your life, okay, you're independent. But who can do that? No? We always need. Like, we think, oh, I don't need anyone, I'm quite self-sufficient, independent. This was not produced by me. Actually, nothing I'm wearing was produced by me. I was not, growing the cotton and then spinning it and then making my dhoti or something. I depend, for even the most basic needs of life, I depend on others. The food I'm eating comes from others. I can say, okay, you buy with your money, but that money is not mine either. Actually, you depend on someone paying you. You depend, okay, you can say, I'm working. But even for working, you depend on your health, on the health system, on the food again. It's a whole cycle, right? And in the end, you depend on Krishna, who gives you all that. So we are very, very dependent. Yeah? And that's why we should give back, why we should serve. So anyway, what I want to say, if we are in such a system of codependence, we need a leader who organizes the people, and we have to accept the authority. We have to accept the authority. Now also in the temple community we have to accept authority. What would happen if Bhakta Brian would say, I take a week off, Hell would break loose here, Okay, you manage the service coordination yourself. You will figure it out, There's war, there's war. Brahmacharya ashram against Mataji ashram, there's war, You do it, no, you do it, you don't do enough, what are you doing? That would be war, terrible war, civil war. So we need a coordinator, so we should accept that. That's very helpful, very needed. So, and in general, this is Krishna's system, and that there is a leader, in ideal case, of course, a king. And Krishna himself showed it. When Krishna came to Mathura, the first thing he did, actually he made a government change. Huh? Actually, he made also a revolution. He killed the king. But he killed, so, and this is just in worst case scenario. But this is interesting, right? There is some justification for revolution in our scripture, in the Bhagavatam. So that means that leader should be accepted, leader should be obeyed when he's qualified. But if he's not qualified, he can be taken down. But it was never that, at least in the examples we have, that it was taken down by the people. Like normally you think of a revolution by the people. And we take him down and we are now the government. Like this was the birth of democracy, right? Democracy, Demoskratia, the rule of the people. That's what it means, no? The rule of the people, not of a king, not aristokratia. Actually, aristocracy is the perfect word. Yeah, aristocracy better than actually monarchy. Monarchy means like you have a king, you have like one elected, not even elected, one seminal person. Actually, aristokratia means the rule of the best. Aristocracy doesn't mean that there's a king. It means the best should rule. Maybe even a group, right? But at least the best of the people. They should rule. That's actually the ideal. The best should rule. And actually, how is it distinguished who is the best, or how is he voted? How is it, who can be the best? So it shouldn't, in my humble opinion, or let's say in my opinion, it's just an ideal thought. It's very difficult to put into practice. But I think the voting system is not good. Because there are too many people who can vote and also do vote who have actually no clue at all. And their opinion can be easily manipulated, as we see over and over again. Actually, only those should be allowed to vote who are qualified to vote. However you want to, define who is qualified. But it should be someone who really understands how can we choose a person who leads us. And that might not be even a big group. Just the best should decide it. Those who are really qualified who can do that. Because mass of people, okay, we cannot make qualified too much, but a great percentage of people does not have a clue, can be easily manipulated, and their votes can be stolen in one sense. If you make good propaganda, you can catch their vote and get into power, and you're actually not the qualified person. But what I wanted to say is actually when Krishna came to Mathura, what I want to say is the revolution did not happen in two cases we have at least in the Bhagavatam. There are at least two cases as far as I remember in the Bhagavatam where the leader was taken down. The king was taken down. One situation I mentioned already, Kamsa, and the other situation was King Vena. When you remember, King Vena. And Vena was obviously unqualified. But who was bringing him down? The Brahmanas. The Brahmanas were killing him. They were killing him with high-sounding noise, with high-pitched sound. Hard to understand how they did it, but somehow or other they made some sound. So sound vibration, they killed him. They gave him chances. They gave him many chances. But he was not using. They said, you cannot rule like that. You cannot do like that. But then it went too much. He went too far when he said, okay, my dear Brahmanas and all the people, You always worship the gods and Vishnu, but actually in Shastra said all the devas reside in the body of the king. So I'm actually the object of worship. You should worship me, make all the yagyas for me, you should meditate on me. I am the supreme. And this is when the Brahmana said, now you're completely nuts now. Okay, get out of here. And they made this noise, whatever, and they killed him. And the other situation, of course, but then what were the Brahmanas doing? Okay, who can now be the king? They were not saying, now we are the kings. Yay, Brahmanas rule now. Get rid of the kings. Like Shringi. Shringi, he had this duality. He said, these kings are terrible. And he was cursing Parikshit. Those Brahmanas, they understood, we need a king. And they created a new king out of the dead king Vena. They made some mystical technique in which what in the Bhagavatam is just called, they churned his tights. They churned his tights. And out of this churning, at first they created Nishada, or like a tribal person, which was the personification of the sins of King Vena. And he was black, and he was very humble actually. What can I do for you, Brahmanas? You created me. He said, go in the forest. Said, go in the forest. Huh? Okay, thank you, very nice. So, and then they churned again, and then they created Prithu Maharaj and his wife, Archie. But interesting thing is, out of the body, we can just speculate there is some kind of mutation, cell manipulation, something like this, cloning. But it just said it churned. Prabhupada translated like churning. It churned some parts of his body, actually. So, but they were taking care that there's a king. So, when Krishna came to Mathura, of course, Kamsa, this is one of the main parts of the whole Krishna Lila, the conflict between Krishna and Kamsa. And in the end, Krishna comes, kills Kamsa. But then what was Krishna doing? He put immediately a king into power. Immediately. And it was not himself. He could have been a very qualified king, definitely. But he said, no, I'm not the king. This is not my dynasty. No, Kamsa comes into a different lineage, actually. Yeah. So the father of Kamsa, who was imprisoned, was King Ugrasena. So he put Ugrasena into power. He was actually the king, but Kamsa put him into prison. Kamsa himself made a coup, actually said a coup. He himself changed the government. And he used an interesting situation when Kamsa married. He married the daughters of Jarasandha, right? Asti and Prapti. And when Jarasandha came for the marriage ceremony, actually Jarasandha was very impressed by Kamsa. Because Kamsa was very powerful. I always thought that Jarasandha is like Jarasandha was the strongest in one sense at that time. He had also the strength of 10,000 elephants. He was an invincible monarch. He had a huge empire, huge army. He was more or less the most powerful king at that time, Jarasandha. But once there was a conflict between Jarasandha and Kamsa, because Jarasandha attacked Mathura when Kamsa was in power, and Kamsa defeated him. And Jarasandha was very impressed and thought, wow, this is a powerful Kshatriya. I would like to give you my daughters in marriage. He was so pleased by him. So then Jarasandha came with the daughters, a huge army. Like this was the tradition when a Kshatriya marries, then the father-in-law comes with his army, to show off. You see this also with Shishupal. When Shishupal wanted to marry, of course he did not marry. Shishupal did not marry, of course not. Then also they came with all these armies and all the Kshatriyas. Of course, I would do the same, of course, If I'm a Kshatriya and I have like 10,000 men behind me, of course, Look how powerful I am, Power, very tempting. No army, what to do, Have to do something about that, huh? Yeah? Prabhupada here, the army, Prabhupada when he was marching, with all his sannyasis in the back, and all his disciples in the back walking behind him. Powerful, Powerful. So Jarasandha came with a huge army, and then there was a coup because Kamsa used the chance that, oh, I'm now aligned with Jarasandha and he has an army, because at that time Ugrasena had the army, he was in power. And then Kamsa went to his father, said, Father, I am now the king. I said, how you are the king? I'm the king. What? He said, no, I am the king now. See my army outside. And then he changed the government. And he put Ugrasena down, put him into prison. So not prison, it was more like a house arrest. They call it house arrest. Sometimes big political persons, when they are caught, or in the past also kings, they were not put them into a prison cell and, they were in chains or something and they were tortured. No, they were given quite nice living situation, but it was very limited. They did the same with Napoleon. When they defeated Napoleon for the first time, they put him into, where was it, St. Helena? Was it? Elba.
Elba was the first one.
And second?
The second was St. Helena.
Yeah, first was Elba and second St. Helena. St. Helena is where he died. But in Elba, he could live, but from there he managed to come into power, because he was so loved by the soldiers and by the people, actually. Crazy. He was brought down, and then he re-established his power in this house arrest. Some or other with political dealings, and then he formed again the army, and suddenly had a huge army again, and nobody could do anything against him again. This is how the world works. This is also why United States are so powerful, because they have the biggest army in the world. And if they want it, they go into war. Power, it's the thing. So also Kamsa said, I have a big army. You want to fight with me, father? And then Ugrasena had to step down, and he got into house arrest. He was living nicely, but he was not king anymore, and Kamsa was the new king. So there were many things Kamsa was doing. Of course, it was a terror government, more or less. People obeyed because they had to. So anyway, Krishna came not without reason. Of course, main reason is because Kamsa was threatening his own family, and it simply got too much. Krishna was living wonderfully, nicely in Vrindavan, but it simply got too much. So it was so heavy that Krishna himself said, I really have to go now. I cannot tolerate this anymore. That my father is threatened, my family is threatened, my mother is threatened, they live in fear. I have to take care of that. Even leaving Vrindavan, even leaving the gopis, who were of course saying, no, you cannot leave, and just said, I will come back, but I have to go. Which is understandable. It's understandable, or is it, or not? Gopis, Yadus, what? Rajasis, Yadus, what to... Anyways, it's the Leela. No? This is a very important part of Leela. So Krishna went to Mathura, of course, he kills Kamsa, puts Ugrasena into power. Puts Ugrasena into power, he rules even Dwarka, and Krishna was never the king until the end. Ugrasena was the king. Krishna was never the king. Didn't need to. Was no need to. And also in Vrindavan, Krishna is not the king. Nanda Maharaj is the king. Officially, of course. Vrindavan Eshwari, of course, Radharani is the queen, yes. But officially, Nanda Maharaj is the king. More or less, Krishna has nothing to say in Vrindavan. Nothing to say. You are just a cowherd boy. But not in a way as yesterday I talked with Ramananda about it. Not like, I always forget her name. What was the name of the wife of Ugrasena? Mother of Kamsa? Padmavati. Padmavati. Because when she said, these inhabitants of Vrindavan, they are so terrible. They are so terrible. The small, poor little Krishna, he had to work all day, herd the cows, they were not giving him shoes, he had to run to the forest. No, they were so terrible. She didn't understand, she has a bad mentality. When the Rajvasis were glorified, she could not accept it. So not in that sense, but in a Rasic sense, Krishna has nothing to say in Vrindavan, because he is the property of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And Nanda Maharaj is the king. He rules Vrindavan. So, yeah. But unofficially, or in reality, of course, it's that Vrindavaneshwari. Why we say Vrindavaneshwari? She's the Ishwari of Vrindavan, Radharani. She's the real ruler. She's the real ruler. And she rules Krishna. Krishna cannot do anything. When Krishna once came to Radhakund, which is quite different than when we go to Radhakund. When we read in Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's explanation, Radhakund is so amazing. It's on every side. I forgot there were so many details, but there on every side and every corner there are little palaces made out of crystal, and the floors are made out of jewel mosaic. How is it, mosaic? Yeah, mosaic. And everything is like splendid and shining, and there are on every side also wonderful trees with big swings, like we were swinging Radha Krishna the day before yesterday. It was very beautiful, right? Very beautiful. Radha Krishna liked to swing. Who likes to swing? Likes to swing? Yes. Swinging. Everyone likes swinging. Yeah. This is such a nice thing. So why? Because Krishna likes swinging. But Krishna doesn't swing alone. He swings with Radharani, his best friend, actually. Because swinging now is like more like adventurous activity, but there's a romantic activity. At the same time, Radharani, of course, she is the greatest lover of Krishna. But all the rasas are in Madhurya rasa. So also Sakya rasa is in Madhurya rasa. So Radharani is also best friend of Krishna. So, and they swing nicely, and all the gopis are there, and just some very exclusive gopas are there, like Madhumangal, and they are also there in some these private pastimes. So they swing them, and they sing the glories. They can sing very nicely. All the gopas and the gopis, they can sing very nicely. Most beautiful voices. And Radha Krishna swinging through the Vrindavan air. Why was it really? Oh no, in Brahma Samhita it said that the light in Vrindavan is, what was it? Is bliss. The light in Vrindavan is bliss. Such a nice concept. The light itself is bliss. Yeah, so this swing, so this bliss air. Very nice. And so on every side of Radhakund, there are on different trees. There's that Kadamba trees, mango tree, and two other very beautiful trees. Like, we were swinging inside the barn 2 days ago. It was very nice, but normally we were swinging in the tree here, this big tree. And this is not more nice. Barn was nice, with all this hay in the back and all that. Well, it was looking good, some atmosphere. But when we were doing the swing ceremony here in the tree, with all the lights, similar decorated, that was very beautiful. Devotees were singing and Radha Krishna was swinging. So this is on Radhakund, and everything is like so beautiful. You can, your fantasy cannot, you cannot fathom even with your highest fantasy the beauty of this place. Vrindavan in general, but Radhakund especially. Yeah. And the water is crystal clear. It's also said in the 15th or 14th chapter of the 10th canto, when Krishna enters the Vrindavan forest together with his cowherd boys. It's in the description of the Denuka Leela. This is when Krishna came into the age of Pauganda. You know the age of Pauganda? This is the age from 6 to 10. From 1 to 5, or like 0 to 5 more or less, is Kumara age. And from 6 to 10, Krishna is in an age when he can herd the cows. Yeah, remember? Before he can only herd calves, because it's too small. But then in this age, okay, now, and it said he is, advised, or he's given this service. And unfortunately, there's no description, at least in the Bhagavatam, maybe somewhere else, how it must have been, but I just imagine, how was it? And Ananda Maharaj calling Krishna, my little boy, now you're big enough, you can herd now the big cows, And of course, boys, or maybe girls also, it's nice if we grow up and we can do something more and get some responsibility, and of course he must be, oh yeah, I can herd the big cows, that's very nice. Not the small calves anymore, like the small boys, I'm a big boy now, I can herd the cows. And 5 years or 6 years and herd cows is actually quite, I cannot herd cows. Not that I'm so big, but I'm older. No cows. Okay, hello cow. How are you doing behind your electric fence? Is it on? Yeah, okay. Nice to see you. Stay there. I stay here. Hare Krishna, Namaste, Gomata. Yeah. Like mantras for cows, but that's about it. Yeah. So, small boy, big cow, they are not so, actually, in Vrindavan, the cows, of course, different. They are very friendly. Because sometimes cows are not friendly, sorry to say, it's sort of disturb your illusion. Oh, cows are so cute. Cute. Cows can be quite tough, They sometimes even kill people, So, it's true. There was one story in the news that some, they were wandering, how do you call it? Wanderer in German is a wanderer. Those guys who walk through the forest, hiking, like hikers. Oh, there is a shortcut through these fields, through the cows, very nice, and they trampled them, Some or other, this herd of cows got crazy or something, they trampled them. And so the farmers actually say, cows are not pets. They are, in German you say, Nutztiere. Nutztiere. They have some purpose, This is not just, oh, cute. Anyway, Vrindavan is different. So small Krishna got this service, and so he goes with all his friends. It's very nicely described how they take the cows out, and then they enter the forest of Vrindavan. It's also an interesting idea, enter the forest of Vrindavan. Meaning, where's the border between the Vrindavan forest and Vrindavan not forest, village or something, huh? And do you have a front of trees in front of you and there's an entrance then? Or, sometimes when you go up here, the hill, and you go into the forest, there's kind of a clear demarcation mark, because there's a row of forests and somehow path leading into it. So enter the forest, right? So they entered into the forest, must have been some path or something, and suddenly you're in the forest, right? Not outside the forest, so under the shade of the trees, under the roof of the trees, and it's described all the trees are beautiful. Every tree is beautiful, and trees in general are quite, it's a good thing. When I was in Mayapur, living in Mayapur, then I could realize this really and appreciate trees because it's so hot, and shadow makes a huge difference, right? It makes a huge difference. And when you're in the shaded area under the trees, it's so refreshing, so nice, and so protected in comparison to the scorching heat. So then they enter into the forest, all these beautiful trees, and it said the sound, has a special sound in the forest because of all the animals and of the bees and of the birds. So it looks nice, it sounds nice inside, and of course it smells nice because of all these different plants and flowers. So, and then there's a light breeze, not a strong wind, some light breeze, and this breeze carries the aroma of all these flowers. And you have all these different flavors, right? Sometimes we inhale very nice flavors, like some devotees have this wonderful sandal incense, which I can never find. I just smell it, and sandal, and then you burn it. No, it's not the same. And sometimes we have this, I don't know who of these pujaris it is, who has this wonderful sandal. I just smell it, and wow, it's so nice. So in Vrindavan you have all these smells, and it's like, these different flowers, the scents, yeah. And the ground, they walk barefoot, as I said, Krishna walks barefoot, but no problem, even though the gopis say, oh no, he walks barefoot and all the thorns, and they will prick you off his feet, but actually the flow in Vrindavan is very soft. It's very, 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 very soft. So he walks into the forest with all his friends, and all this choking is there. And then there's a lake in Vrindavan, in this forest, Bhagavatam says. So it's not said which lake or what's the name, but it just said the water is crystal clear as the mind of a yogi. Crystal clear as the mind of a yogi. So, are we yogis? Is our mind crystal clear? I find this very interesting, the concept of, Prabhupada sometimes says, consciousness is like water, right? It takes on everything what it comes in contact with. So our mind should be crystal clear, like this lake. So Krishna's herding The cows, so yeah, and that's what he does in Vrindavan. And he knows all the cows by name, is also said. He has thousands of cows, and he knows all the cows by name. So this is what Krishna does. He has to work. Nanda Maharaj is in charge. He's the king. And Krishna is just living in Vrindavan as a village boy. Krishna is just a village boy. He's not the king. He doesn't want to and doesn't need to rule. He's just having fun. Okay, this was a little, detour of the main topic on ruling and the quality of a king. And with this we can end. Thank you so much for your kind attention. Any questions? Anything to add? Everything clear as the lake in Vrindavan? Yeah. Good. Thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Srila Prabhupada ki.